Hello, and thanks for joining with me again for a teaching video. Today I want to talk to you about similarities between religions and spiritual movements, those in antiquity, and also similarities between those and continuing movements and religions today. When I was a child, I was raised in a religion that taught that it was the only true religion, and that the only way to be assured of salvation or an afterlife that was good was to be saved in this particular religion. And any similarities between this and other religions that were considered false religions had to be explained away. Either they were copycat religions, or they had been deceived by the devil and had proposed things that later would be proposed by this one true religion, but only there would they be correct. Well, as I began to study, I learned that there are many similarities between religions. The religions of the ancient world shared some of the same patterns with each other over cultures that might not even have had contact with one another. People realized as soon as the Mayan hieroglyphics were discovered in their tombs that they were very similar to what was happening in Egypt on the other side of the world. And all of the religions have belief stories that are similar, significant figures in ancient mythology that are remarkably similar from culture to culture. In every culture, there were specific themes that seemed to resonate with people. And these patterns included the existence of many gods who take a personal interest in the lives of people and help them. A creation by a supernatural entity who either speaks it or fashions it or commands it into existence, and other supernatural beings that emanate from the first, the greatest one, an explanation of the creation of the earth and human beings and their relationship with the Creator God, who requires worship and sacrifice. Also repeated in many of the religions is what is called a dying and reviving God. This is a powerful figure, a powerful God who either dies or is killed, but then is revived, restored to life for the good of his people. We see this reflected in Osiris in Egypt, Krishna in India, the maize god in Mesoamerica, Bacchus in Rome, and Attis in Greece. We find this motif also in the Jewish writings, in the very first book of their writings, Genesis. Several chapters at the end of the book, specifically 37 and then 39 to 45. And this is the story of Joseph. And Joseph is a wonderful young man, apparently with some kind of psychic or supernatural abilities, who is sold by his brothers into slavery. He's taken to Egypt, and there, because of an accusation by Potiphar's wife, he's thrown into prison. After this, he's released from prison and becomes a leader in the nation, saving the people from famine in the same way that the earlier gods had done good to their people. Now, the prison and release motif is not exactly the same as dying and being resurrected, but metaphorically it is the same. And then, of course, we see this theme of life after death and life coming from death and judgment after death in the teachings of Paul in the Christian New Testament, where he is spreading the story of Jesus throughout Palestine, Asia Minor, Greece, and Rome in the very earliest days of the Christian faith. And Paul sees Jesus as the anointed Son of God who dies to redeem humanity. And some believe that this story and the significance of it in the life and death and resurrection of Jesus is drawn from and informed the understanding of the scribes taken from the earlier religions. The religion of Christianity made standard a belief in an afterlife, and it set up organized rituals to attain such a life. But in doing so, these early Christians were also following in the footsteps of Egyptians and Phoenicians and Greeks, all of who had established rituals to that were stylized to worship their gods. So the purpose of religion seems to be to provide us with an understanding that we're not alone in our struggles or our suffering, or even when good things happen to us, that we can be a better people, and that certainly death is not the end of existence. The religions of the ancient world provided people's questions with answers about life and death. And in that regard, they're no different than the religions being practiced in the world today. There are great similarities between the faiths of the world. If you've enjoyed this study of looking at some of these similarities, I hope you'll take the time to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Please leave your comments and questions and suggestions for specific movements, people, or religions that you'd like to learn about. And I hope that you'll be able to join with me again next time I upload a video. In the meantime, please stay very safe and healthy, and I hope to see you again soon.